All right, here we are back. We're going to come back at this for a minute without the board, so I can be more in feel with you, more expressive. Try not to be an act. I'm going to talk about the relevant three. So once again, you'll see this photograph. When I moved to the island, it came from once again kind of questions that were coming out of the last talk, the ones that I at least knew about. And most of it was that there was really no context for. I already knew that most physics are based on theory. I mean, it's just like it's just what's happening. It's just how it's existing. It's how the math and everything is contained. But how the mind is contained in that is a whole different story. What the mind is actually believing is happening is a whole different story. So the questions that come from that are just like, there is an abyss. I don't know how to answer that for you. But from that came just the reality or the context of the relevance of, well, the only way you'll know anything is to know the relevance of three. So, which is the golden mean, which is just a sense organ of all it is. It's not some godchild. I guess it would be if you didn't have any idea of what it was, which I didn't ever, but you always have a sense of, well, I should say that, just the sensing of life is close enough. That's what attention basically is. Attention is attention to, if you don't have any attention, then you're, you're not here. Attention is, how much attention do you have and where is that attention? How is it contained as far as, is it interested always in something out here, or is it, what is its interest basically? And where does it say reality stems from? So the stuff I'm presenting is that it's not just in the thought base or what you may hear from me, or this is actual. And that's why the photographs, there's a way I can express that in one more act of conveyance of technology that's one step away always from a charge-based technology, which would be a way of, or how we would convey, an expression of that is how we would convey something, an intuition, to another person without actually saying or conveying anything. To say that words have to be the way to convey knowledge is insane. You pretty much know you need to jump out of the bus, out in front of the bus. If it's coming at you, in this case here, let's talk about the wave. That wave that's coming is always that sense that we're having. And I'm only going to do this for a second because that sense is always a sense of what we are in time and space. And for a lot, it's a lot of pain and suffering. It's a lot of, I don't know what's up, but it doesn't feel very good. That's the sense or a sensing of that particular mind and its environment as it exists. And who can have any judgment? They're existing that way just like that. And so am I. So to convey anything, to have a context of something that's other than already something that has to be held up in space to quantify it. So the relevant three came from, it was already in my drawings. If you go backwards, you'll see, maybe I'll show some of this in. From the 369, it says, and these are things I didn't know. Once again, I didn't know these things. They just, I felt them, and then kind of with all the study, and then it's just you just backdropping on what someone else. I mean, Tesla felt 369. He didn't feel 4612. And the numbers don't go this way. That's why you'll see the numbers. They go from the way that the energetic field has to be. This is 4 quadrants. I'm showing you in the mind, in in me that this is happening through the earth, and it's through and through the earth is and the earth is through its force field. This is all happening at the same time. What we're experiencing of that is only what we, our intellect is in attention mode is allowing. That is a frequency. It's a frequency. And it's something that has to do with our DNA compression unit as a charge. It's not an ability. It's just attention. That's where we left off. It's just attention. So where is that attention? How is it existing? And it's not a judgment. It can't be a judgment on anything. It's just a sense. So a lot of people see me standing on the beach. I'm not here for that long. I'm always changing. But I do. It doesn't matter. I'm only there for so long, and I'm at home doing the same thing. A lot of times, too, of course, music. And we'll get back to the wave. That wave that is of whatever we're talking about, the whole. What is the whole? Is it today? Is that wave is what's going to happen at 3, at 4, at 5? When is it coming? And then we get some of us that have been around and go, oh, wow, I'm feeling the wave of the whole thing. As I left off in the last one, we don't know a whole bunch about death. So when I moved to the island after this time, it was all based upon the discussions and things that were had from that last video and the kind of the chasm, the void that's within the minds that's occurring right now, which creates multiverses that don't really exist. Their equations in their head are creating multiverses as a reality. Theoretically. And it's not what's happening in the reality of the physics of quattro force within the 3D light force. This is how things work. That's what the burn is. That's where quantum mechanics has led to nuclear mechanics, nuclear physics. And it runs into a dead-end street because the minds that are creating it are still coming from the E equals mc squared only. There's so much to that. It's a wonderful equation. But it's only for one, it helps, it's like zero. It only helps for so long. It's not what the reality is. So to understand or to even grasp anything is to know that any number system, if it's in the generalization of it towards just math, just to equate things out, is a numbering system. When I'm saying 369 or a relevant 3 and a resonant 6, that has to do with the quattro force. So I don't really want to spend a lot of time on anything in between. That can be done hopefully at some point in time with PDFs of my material. And I can send once again, I can send to those what I have at any given time until I get something set up. It won't be a website. Probably not. Everything from this point will be production anyway. My whole mindset is going to be actual production. So back to the number system. Any numbers now when I use them or feel it, it's always a feeling. Because there's no reference point, there's a dead end to number system based in 2 dimensions, and really we don't even need to get into dimensions anymore, really, except for if you want to talk about 3D. Let's talk about 3D as light, and we'll leave it there, because it's the relevant 3. So when I moved to the island, it had to be, once again, how am I going to make myself relevant? I know I'm relevant, but not relevant enough. So the water and the charge became amplified. When we call it awareness or awakening, it doesn't matter. You just because me, I'm just always sensing something, so I'm more charged to it. So now I've got more to play with. Does it mean I'm out there doing my own dance? So I do dance a lot. People have seen it. But it's not about that, it's about the feeling. The moisture there is fucking incredible. Excuse the language, but that in the wind, there's a force power going into that. So to feel something as charged means something to the intellect. Now, if I said as charged, you would go, well, he's telling me I'm. So it's up to you to, that's what it's not a choice. It's an attention factor. And so that attention only comes from how much is it, what does feel mean? So far it's meant so many things to so many people that it doesn't matter. It's what does it take to be able to be this, is it the same tomorrow or the same today? Or to me, it was to be able to be sensing more in the moment than I was. Once I knew that when I was able to do that, I was going to do more of that. And once I knew I could contain and sustain that, why would I do anything else? Well, I can't believe that's all you do. It wasn't. I did take care of family. But the equation of the intellect is what we're talking about, the Xing. Where does that occur just here? Yes. And, well, there's an electromagnetism or electromagnetic field or a physiological body. Electrostatic as well. So all my attention is amplifying that experience to be able to express to you the relevant three, the resonance six, and what those are things that we already know. They already have been known in a way. So the relevance is the relevance of the intellect. So when you say three, when I say three minds, that means the relevance of you is always a factor of three. So what's the celestial body? What is the Orion? Once you start seeing it, you see threes everywhere. Nice guy. So the relevance to the electromagnetic field in reference to water, in reference to our reverence to, do we like living in areas where there's no water? No. We would like water. We would like a normal environment. So the experience that I'm having, the intellect that I'm bringing to the experience is amplifying this whole thing, and that's what I'm trying to get at, the aquification, the experience of the wave, the water content. Not as I'm splashing myself or in the water. It has nothing to do with being in the water or on the water. As an islander, they know they're just born in, it's just like one thing. I'll get in the water, but this is a reference, it's just a reference to the water, which is the water is what the water is coming to the land. And it has more force because it's electrostatic. So that sensation is kind of amplified. Anybody's been in the kind of conditions I'm in. The resonance factor, something I felt a long time ago, and that's why I even was, because that area is around the 19.5. So there's a resonance factor, which is just known. What is resonance? Go look it up. It's what it's going to mean to you. To me, it means, maybe I can feel more. Once again, my intellect, I'm racing to where I can feel more. It doesn't matter. That's just me. The whole thing is never about just me. But it has to be about me. But it can't be just about me. Because one can exist without all. One can exist without four. Forces don't exist without three. which is the intellect. That's why I call it the intellectual code. So the two is always how the mind works out the experience in force. And that's where chirality comes from. That's where two comes from. It's not duality. You're stuck here. You're in duality. But really, there's no yin and yang. There's always a movement of yin and yang. So that's where the quadruple force comes from. C2 is a C4 is a C8. For those that know light. And light is just light speed. It's not really what they know about light. It's just the force that they have measured, and they call it light. And we have the expression of light within, and that's another thing that, once again, light through water or sunshine through water or the experience of that where I'm at is amplified. The amplification of anything always is within. Wow, that is really, really incredible. This is really, really incredible. All right, are you ready to go? We're going to go home now. So how incredible is incredible? So the experience that we would ever say that the entirety or whole of, is it just something that we can equate out to? That would be what we would measure experience as? Or is experience always something that's always happening to Earth? And does it have a say-so and then get a decision on how it equates it out in the moment? Our intellect really isn't designed to have so much of this going on. Basically compressing the moment so that the mind has to stay there. And that's what I'm trying to point out. It's been a frequency. This is however I got there. In the frequency of the DNA, which is it's you have to get to the point of knowing that DNA runs the charge, and that charge is ran through your brain. Your central nervous system runs that charge. It's three things. 2 minutes. So DNA, in and of itself, is not really, even though we're studying it, which is good, because otherwise, I'd say thank you. I was wondering why I was so fucked up. I don't have to worry about it anymore. So thank you. So knowing that there's a DNA glitch, it's been really nice. Kind of push that along. So I really, how much thanks for just talking about this with best of all friends, to the people that have brought information that has allowed at least my mind to work faster towards what I'm trying to present here, which is nothing more than just the mechanics of physics of light. It's not really light. I don't even want to say that right. Let's say 3D. The physics of experience, which ends up being upheld by a quattro force, not just another dimension that we get to go look into. That's where it yes.
Would it be an experience that you are in charge of? You're aware that you're in charge of?
Experience.
In other words, like you can actually sort of I'll try to sort of find my question.
So the experience of it's not the experience that you're always experiencing. I use as in. You'll see it in the words all the time, as in. So as in is how the central nervous system has to work. It's not set up this way. It's set up whichever way it is, but it's more this way. Right is electromagnetic, left is electrostatic. It will never be any different. It's just that's how it works. I don't know what they know about it physiologically, but it's just how it works. So then when they go and say that's how the universe works, it works chirally, you might make a little more sense. Oh, we're all designed to work that way, and here we go, we'll talk about this later.